What's going on, Diablo 2 fans? My name is Zabrunsky, and today I'm going to bring you a character build guide for one of my favorite melee characters in Diablo 2, and for some reason, almost nobody runs this character, and I have no idea why, and that's the Fury Druid. This is going to be a budget version of the build, and I'm going to go over the character's stats, the skill tree, the gear, and the mercenaries gear, and then I'm going to tie up the video with some gameplay to show you this build in action. So guys, I really hope you enjoy this video. Let's jump in. Alright guys, so there's a couple key points that I wanted to discuss before I go into further detail with this character build. And number one, this is a budget druid character, okay? So no high runes, no fortitude. I wanted to make it as budget as possible. And number two, I cannot stress enough, if you're going to make a Fury Druid specifically, faster hit recovery breakpoints are extremely important because a lot of the Fury Druid's attacks are interruptible. It's not like Zeal on a Paladin where they're uninterruptible. So guys, faster hit recovery is extremely important. And the last thing I wanted to cover is that the faster hit recovery breakpoints are really easy to hit on a druid with a two-handed weapon versus relatively slower, faster block rate breakpoints. And that's for the druid specifically. Kind of like how the Amazon has slow, faster cast rate breakpoints. It's sort of the same with the druid and the faster block rate. So in my opinion, I think it's best to use a two-handed weapon versus a one-handed weapon, but that's personally just me, guys. That's my opinion, so I'll leave that decision up to you. But let's take a look at this character build in more depth now. So the stat points are relatively straightforward, and I almost feel like a broken record because every character build that I ever make, it's the same. But it's no different with this Fury Druid. It's a max Vita Druid, so I invest the bare minimum points that are required to wear my gear. So with this character, it happens to be 97. So with 97 strength, I can wear every piece of gear. I'm not using Storm Shield or anything like that, so I don't need the 156 strength requirement to wear a Monarch. Dex is the same thing. I don't have any points into Dexterity. A lot of the Druid skills like Fury, the Ravenfrost ring that I'm wearing, the Werewolf skill, they really boost the Druid's attack rating, so I didn't invest any points into Dexterity. And then I dumped all of my remaining points of Vitality, so this Druid has 1100 health with no Torch, no Annie, nothing like that before I boost his health with Oak Sage. And then finishing up with energy, again, no points in energy. We get enough mana from the lifesteal on our ring, so that's, you know, pretty straightforward. Just max Vita and enough strength to wear your gear. As far as your skill investment goes, it's relatively straightforward for the elemental skill tree. For this particular Fury Druid build, I didn't invest a single point into the elemental tree. I have seen some pretty cool builds, hybrid builds I guess you would say, on YouTube where they use the Armageddon skill while they're in werewolf form. But for this particular character build, we didn't invest a single point in the elemental skill tree. So as you can imagine, being a Fury Druid, a lot of the skill points for this character are going to be invested in the shapeshifting tree, so I'll kind of break them down for you. I maxed Werewolf and I maxed Lycanthropy, so that's going to significantly boost the max life and the duration and the attack rating of the Werewolf, so that's really important. I also dumped 20 points into Feral Rage. Now Feral Rage is amazing. It's kind of like a charge up skill, so you hit with it a couple times and this glowing red ball will swirl around the druid and it'll get bigger and bigger. So when it's fully charged, the Fury Druid, or this druid character build, sorry, gets 57% boost to faster run walk, 104% lifesteal. Yeah, you heard that right, 104%, friggin' insane. It's basically life tap. Increases the damage attack rating, so that's a really good skill. I only invested 1 point into Rabies, and that was just to unlock Fury. And then here's the big one, guys, a Fury Druid. You're going to dump 20 points into Fury, obviously. It's an amazing skill, like 5 consecutive hits, 211% boost to attack bonus, and a whopping 491% damage. And that's with, I don't even have skills from the Annie Charm or the Torch, anything like that. So it's an amazing skill, guys. But one of the biggest drawbacks to Fury is it's an interruptible attack. It says on the Area Summit that it's uninterruptible, but it's not. I have no idea what the situation is there, but it's definitely an interruptible attack. So that's when I mentioned previously that fast hit recovery is so important, and I'll get into that more with the gear, but that's basically the shapeshifting tree for this character build. So the last skill tree to look at is the summoning skill tree, and it's relatively straightforward as well. Now I wanted to make sure that I had one hard point into Summon Grizzly because he's an awesome meat shield. So what I did was I put one into Oak Sage, one into Raven, one into Spirit Wolf, and then one into Dire Wolf, just to unlock Summon Grizzly, and then I put one skill point in there. And even with one skill point, the Summon Grizzly has 1300 health, plus whatever he's boosted with the Oak Sage, so he's an awesome meat shield. And then after I made sure I'd unlocked Summon Grizzly, I dumped my remaining points into Oak Sage. So it's level 19, I get 125% boost to life, which is nice. The Oak Sage only has 384 health, and because this is a budget Fury Druid, I'm not using CTA to buff the Oak Sage, so the Oak Sage does die a lot, so you do have to resummon him, but the life boost is just too good to ignore. So that's basically the summoning skill tree. It's pretty straightforward as well. So now it's time to go over the gear, guys. It's probably the most juicy part for you guys anyways. One quick important point that I wanted to note is that when you're in werewolf form, your increased attack speed breakpoints all come from your weapons. So offhand or off weapon, sorry, increased attack speed, stuff like High Lords, maybe a Ruby Jewel of Fervor and a helmet. That's not going to help you when you're in werewolf form. So I really wanted to stress that. That's really important. But I'll go over the gear pretty quickly. I don't want to talk forever about it, but using Laying of Hands, the increased attack speed doesn't help us, but the 350 ED to demons and the fire res is just amazing. For the weapon, I'm using a upped Rib Cracker with a Shell Rune in it. I put the Shell Rune in it so that the character, the Fury Druid, would reach the highest attack speed breakpoint, which he happens to with this weapon. I mean, Rib Cracker is, in my opinion, the best Fury Druid weapon in the game. Like, this one has a Shell Rune, but it has 70% increased attack speed, 50 faster hit recovery, 15 crushing blow, 15 to dex, increase damage to the undead. It's just an amazing weapon, and the 50 FHR is huge. Again, I cannot stress that enough. Faster hit recovery is super important with Fury Druid, so that's why I went with the Rib Cracker. I mean, it's a lot cheaper than something like a Breath of the Dying too. For the helmet, Jalal's Mane, also another amazing Fury Druid helmet. Plus skills, res, strength, faster hit recovery, really important. And I punched a hole in it and used a rare jewel that gives the Druid a little bit of faster hit recovery and enhanced damage. For the amulet, I just went with Cat's Eye. Again, sticking to the budget theme. I didn't want to go with High Lords, but the faster run walk is cool, the dex is nice. Again, the increased attack speed doesn't help us, but I thought that was sort of the best budget amulet I could use. For their armor, I'm just using Duress and a Wormhide. It's an amazing armor for a budget melee character. Shale Thal, nothing too crazy, nothing, super expensive. Has 40 faster hit recovery, crushing blow, open wounds, cold res, light res, fire res, and poison res. It's just a wicked budget body armor. For the first ring, just using a mana stolen per hit, strength, res, rare ring, nothing crazy. The other ring is Raven Frost. Again, just cannot be frozen, dexed, attack rating. That's really important for melee character. And then the druids, this particular druids, the source of life stolen per hit comes from the belt. I'm using String of Ears, so I get 8% life stolen per hit and 15 damage reduction, so that's really important. For the boots, just using Gore Riders, again, faster run walk, crushing blow, deadly strike, open wounds, just really nice melee boots, and they're not super godly either. They're still considered to be a budget item, which is funny considering how good they are for melee characters. The inventory is nothing crazy. I'm just using 2 life, all of resistance, grand charms. These might be a little harder to find, but I do have an open inventory, so you could just drop more res charms to max your res, because that's one thing, this character doesn't have max res, but you'll see I don't think it matters because I have 4,000 health without a CTA, and then plus the 100% life stolen per hit from Feral Rage. I don't think you need to worry too much about it. If you're going to do like bail runs and stuff like that with souls, you'll definitely want to add grand charms to stack your res. And then on Switch, just using Harmony for the Vigor Aura for faster run walk. You'll get to see more of why I chose Harmony when I go through the build in action. But basically, I get my Feral Rage fully charged, so I'm running around really fast, and then I just swap to Harmony so I can run even faster. But that's basically the character's gear. Again, it's pretty straightforward, nothing super expensive, no high runes. And it's actually a very powerful character, so it'll be pretty cool to show you guys this build in action. So the last thing to cover for this character build is the mercenary gear. Now again, like I've mentioned many times, we're sticking with the theme of being a budget mercenary. So I went with a Act 2 Nightmare Merc to get the offensive aura, so that's nice for boosting the damage on the Fury Druid. But his gear is really straightforward as well, just a G-face with a plain 15% increased attack speed jewel. And the armor, we're using an E-Bug Treachery. That's, 45 increased attack speed, the chance to proc fade, just an awesome budget mercenary armor. If you don't have a 3 open socket E-Bugged armor, you can use just a plain non-eth Treachery that works just fine as well. And then we're also using Reaper's Toll with a Shale Rune. Now the reason I have a Shale Rune in it is just you want to hit 75 increased attack speed. That's a particular breakpoint to hit. So you get 20 from Shale, 15 from the helmet, and then 45 from Treachery. That helps us hit that breakpoint. But the main reason why I went with the Reaper's Toll for the weapon is because it has the chance to cast Decrepify. Now Decrepify is going to help us deal with physical immune monsters. And it's also going to significantly boost the physical damage we do because it's going to reduce the physical resistance of enemies by 50%. So that's going to significantly boost their damage, which is pretty important because this is a budget Fury Druid. But that's basically the Mercenaries gear. So now let's do a pit run on players 1 difficulty in Hell, and I'll show you this build in action. Let's get this pit run underway. So I have my Meat Shield and my Oak Sage. I'm already in werewolf form, but I'll just go out of it. Transfer back to werewolf form. I put my Feral Rage on my right click and then my Fury on my left click. So now I got my Feral Rage charged up, and then I switched to Harmony for the faster run walk. So it's pretty cool. Between the Cat's Eye, Feral Rage, can run pretty quick, and the Harmony. So you're basically constantly keeping the Feral Rage proc, switching back to Harmony, and then also using Fury at the same time. Switch out again. So we're constantly keeping it procced. It's crazy how fast this character runs though. Remember, this is a budget character, no high runes, nothing. Players 1 difficulty. So you always want to make sure that you constantly have the Feral Rage proc. That's why sometimes I'm attacking fast, because I'm attacking with Feral Rage, or sorry, I'm attacking with Fury, and then sometimes I'm attacking a bit slower because I'm keeping my Feral Rage buffed up. The Mercenary hasn't even had a chance to proc Fade, or proc Fade to proc Decrepify yet. This is a bad pit map, but we'll clear difficulty 1 and difficulty 2, or level 1 and level 2, sorry. Oh, got mana burn there. That's a little annoying, getting hit with mana burn, but... Not really expecting to find anything. I have no MF, but this will probably be the time that I drop Zod or something. Now it is really important to note, that you should, on occasion, transform out and then transform back into werewolf form, just so you don't wind up being in like the middle of a fight and then you become a druid again. So I get the Feral Rage procced, go to town with Fury. Oh no, we got amp damage on. Hopefully there's not too many archers here. I mean, like, you can see, like, this is obviously a budget character. I'm not using Fortitude. Oh, we lost the Oak Sage. There. Cast the Oak Sage again. But I mean, you can imagine this character with, like, Fortitude and a full inventory of, you know, max damage small charms. Like, this character would be very deadly. And this character is honestly a blast to play. I'm really, like, don't understand why people don't play this character more often. And I honestly think it's because of a lot of the attacks are interruptible and they don't stack enough faster hit recovery. That's what I think anyways. There you have it, guys. That is a pit run and pit clear with the Fury Druid. Budget Fury Druid. Well, guys, there you have it. That pretty well wraps up my budget Fury Druid build. Again, I friggin' love this melee character, and I don't understand why more people don't play it. So really, I hope this video inspires you guys to try one out. Obviously, it's not good for magic finding, but if you want to make a really powerful, fun melee character and just run stuff over for a couple days or a week in Diablo 2, the Fury Druid might be the character for you guys. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. You can throw a thumbs up on it, share it, and even consider subscribing if you're new to my YouTube channel. That would be great. But thank you so much for the support, guys. Hope you guys have a great day. Peace out.